Happy Friday, folks. Before I jump into the market pulse, I want to touch on three headline events this week that we in the industry call black swan events. They just happen from time to time, and other than being well diversified, there isn't much you can do to plan for them. First, the weather. My brother Mike, who's a trauma surgeon from Orlando, just returned from a week of disaster relief in North Carolina, and the damage and loss of life is truly devastating. He shared with me that it'll take years to rebuild the communities in Hurricane Helene's path. As if we didn't need another headache, 47,000 longshoremen went on strike Tuesday, effectively shutting 36 ports along the eastern and Gulf coasts. Thankfully, they resolved it last night, at least until after Christmas. So we won't have that economic headache to contend with for a while. Finally, the growing conflict in the Middle East saw Iran launch 180 ballistic missiles into Israel Tuesday night. They did slightly more damage than their April attack, and while it was bold, the loss of life was very minimal. Now, the world is waiting for Israel to retaliate, whereas they were content in April to attack a token few missile sites around Tehran in a very proportional response. This time, the shoe that's about to drop likely won't be as measured. Many analysts suspect Israel is setting its sights on Karg Island. This is the terminal in Iran through which 95% of their oil exports are shipped. The island is barely the size of downtown Ventura, and an Israeli strike here would cripple Iran's economy, but also certainly drive up crude prices around the globe. They already jumped 12% since Tuesday to $74 a barrel, and some analysts are forecasting a jump to $100 a barrel if Karg Island is attacked. So with that as our backdrop, let's review this week's market pulse. Compared to last week, there's less green, more red, and more gray. Although stocks ended strongly today, it's been a fairly flat week. Consumers are still struggling, and now jobs and manufacturing aren't looking as bullish as they did a week ago. This morning's stock rally was fueled by a rosy jobs report, but as I've mentioned before, this is an election year, and figures from the Department of Labor have become a bit of a joke since they get revised so often. So to sum up, there's room for optimism if you're looking for it, and there's room for caution if you're paying attention to world headlines. As always, I'm keeping my eye on client accounts and managing the risks where prudent to do so. That's all I've got for today. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.